Hey, only the real OG fans know about Spazzy Rocket. But so when I talk about the former Christian hip hop artists, there is a guy by the name of Paul Russell and a lot Molly Music. Yep, B plus. That's who it was. And the person that we are speaking on when we're talking about Paul Russell used to run around with Ruslan, and I think they still cool, but he used to be a part of Dream Junkies 2.0. I don't even think they never went by Dream Junkies, nor did they ever have a group name, but this was the after Ruslan had his whole situation with Belief and John Gibbs. Then at that point, he went and got Paul Russell and John Keith. And honestly, it was like he hasn't missed a beat. Ruslan's eye for talent is immaculate, I must say. He knows those who to back. I mean, think about somebody like John Keith, who's one of the biggest artists within Christian hip hop space currently. But Paul Russell, who they were King's Dream ENT, but that wasn't okay. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. They were King's Dream, but they weren't King's Dream is more or less the label or whatever the case is, but they weren't Dream Junkies. Got it. So the crazy part about it is that Paul Russell went through and actually made really good Christian hip hop. But Paul didn't get the love for which I would say a John Keith got. I don't know if it was his swag. I don't know if it was the fact that he made a lot of upbeat, fun music. I don't know what it was, but if you actually took the time to listen to Paul Russell, you would know that he had something very special. Just his way with words and kind of the way he could make you feel when listening to his music was a little bit different. John Keith had everything that you would want in a star, right? He had the swag, he had the vocals, he had the bars, he had the aesthetics. But when it came to Paul Russell, it was like, you can rap, but I don't know if this is something that I want to display as our champion of Christian hip hop, right? When you have those people that come in and like, oh, what's Christian hip hop? All you do is rap Jesus bars and it's not, it doesn't hit as hard. And what you're going to rap about Sunday school, like, to prove them wrong, you wouldn't give them a Paul Russell. Not saying that he done all those things, but that's not what you would put out in front in order to make people say, oh, this is interesting. This is actually kind of dope. Let me check out more, right? Paul Russell was more or less the person that you would go, hey, if you love wordplay, if you love bars, there's a guy, after you've already listened to CHH, hey, why don't you try this out? He's a bit different. He's a bit unorthodox into what we're seeing the popular Christian hip hop artists be, but give him a listen. After a little bit, that whole situation with King's Dream, I'm saying breakdown. I'm not saying it broke down in the sense of they parted ways. Let me say that they mutually parted ways. Along with John Keith leaving as well. John Keith's now with Indie Tribe, but that's what happened. And after he left, Paul Russell, you didn't really see him pop up that much. But then he tapped into something very well. He jumped on the TikTok wave. He was one of the first artists to actually he was one of the first artists from this genre to really gain a following on TikTok. He was the one that actually made people understand that, hey, there's really something with TikTok. And he started blowing up. Just making his quirky, Disney Channel raps. And I say Disney Channel raps as a fact. He would literally take theme songs, flip them, and put a rap verse on it, and they would go crazy. Like they would be some really good records. So big shouts out to Paul Russell. So he's always had it, right? And one of the things I love pointing to is Derek Minor, one of the legends within the Christian hip hop space, has always said, guys, when it comes to this sync thing, I hear Derek Minor's record on ESPN almost like once a day, right? He's really got it in the bag when it comes to these sync situations. And one of the things he said with sync was like, hey, y'all are already doing the hard work. Y'all don't have to move from having vulgar language and having vulgar images and changing your subject essentially to get these sync deals. They're looking for clean hip hop. They understand that hip hop resonates with their fan base and more their athletes, right? So we would love to do this without compromising the children in attendance and our white fans, right? Let's just keep it a bean. And so Christian hip hop is perfect for that. Now, look, I want to say that it was Butter P, I think it was. I could be wrong, don't quote me on that, but I want to say I was listening to back when a Clubhouse was huge, right? I was listening to a Clubhouse with her, and she was saying that, hey, yes, you can't come in and be overt when you are speaking. She was like, you can still speak about victory and you can speak about, certain things. You just have to kind of do it with a bit more subtlety, right? You're not getting a Sikh license saying Jehovah on the record, right? Maybe if This Is Us sponsors you, or maybe if Fireproof, right? I hate Christian movies. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't even try to watch them. They've always been under budgeted to me. However, if y'all got some good ones that I should check out that actually have good production quality, y'all let me know. But if you want these huge sync licenses situations, you want to be on the ESPNs and you want to be on the ABCs and you want to be on the sports centers, you have to kind of not be stubborn headed and all for, if they don't want this, then I don't need it. Not for your glory, God. Like, come on, guys. Let's be smart. They ain't even trying to do you like that. They just are appealing to a larger audience that isn't 100% Christian. All right. So we got that. No problems at all. But with that being said, she said, hey, just you can still give your testimony, just don't be so overt in regards to that, and these things will work out. So Paul Russell, to get back to him, to the subject of the matter, was somebody who tapped into that and truly understood. So this guy is getting so many hundreds of thousands of views, and then he starts getting a partnership. This is how I knew that Paul Russell was no longer who we knew him as within Christian hip hop. Not did he just have reels that were blowing up, right? When I took my break away from Christian hip hop back in late September, early October of 2023, I would listen to the radio, and his record, Lil Boo Thing, was literally being played that ain't where that ain't even where I first. I was watching, I want to say, a Burger King commercial, and his song came on, and I said, oh my God. Oh my. This is going bananas right now. You're not just on a sports center or ESPN, which there's nothing wrong with that. That's huge. That's a gigantic market. I don't want you to get this twisted into what I'm saying. But you're on a nationally televised commercial that will not just be shown on the channel I'm watching, but because we're talking about Burger King, such a huge company, right? They're going to be played on several channels. I said, oh my. Paul Russell he's like, he was already out of here because, like I said, he had certain deals doing music with certain people. He's doing good. But that's a different type of check. I'm just keeping it how it is. Then I'm starting to hear you on the radio, and you're not paying for your song to be on the radio. Here I am in little old Oklahoma, and I believe Paul Russell's somewhere in Cali somewhere, right? Little old Oklahoma. And I'm hearing on local radio stations, your song. And wait a minute. I'm not even talking about the fact that this wasn't even a hip hop station. Now, of course, if you listen to Lil Boo Thing, it has a sample of a popular pop record. So, okay, yeah, all right. And really, I mean, would it be pop or would it be considered R&B. It was like, oh, you got the best of my love. Like that's the record, right? I don't. Who is that? Who is that by? Who is that? Whatever. We ain't gonna worry about that. But with that being said, so I don't know if you would call it pop or R&B, but he's sampling that record, and he's on a top 10 hit station. He's on a station that they only play hip hop if it's from a Doja Cat or if Lotto is remixing a Mariah Carey record or something along those lines. That's the station that I'm hearing him on. So this is a station that has majority of white fans, and they are loving this song. They got to be somehow, some way requesting it for it to actually get on the radio, right? I don't think he knows the people that work in this radio. Now, granted, I want to say, no, it wasn't iHeart. It wasn't an iHeart media station. I'd say that because I know that iHeart covers a lot of markets. And so I know it's more than just a local station, but it wasn't the iHeart media section. This was, like I said, pure local radio. And I'm hearing this song as we're driving. And I said, oh my God, I turned it up. Boom. I'm like, wow. My wife's like, what is it? I said, that's Paul Russell. Like this guy is no longer in this world within this world. This guy is now being nationally recognized. Again, people are requesting this specific record. So this is how I know. And then, he follows it up with releasing another record. I don't even know what it's called. It's not as popular, but obviously, but hey, it is what it is. So he releases another record, and I'm thinking this hype dies down. But then I find out just the other day that Mr. Paul Russell has a Fortnite emote, and this is huge for several reasons. But my thing is, it's one thing to get on a Jimmy Fallon, right? And the music execs are probably watching Jimmy Fallon. The who's are watching Jimmy Fallon, right? But they're not running the hip hop industry. You could say, oh, well, I mean, they're the people within those positions. And you're correct. But they're not saying what's hot in Christian, or not in Christian hip hop. They're not saying what's hot in hip hop, right? They are finding the trends and exploiting them, right? When drill was super, super huge, that's a lot of drill rappers started getting signed. When this electronic, this techno, or this I call it drill dance type of music got popular, you started seeing more and more of that coming out. So they don't run the industry. They just find what's popular, what everybody is saying is hot, and they're exploiting it. Well, because if I put marketing dollars behind you, then at that point, I can make you the biggest artist to do this, right? If I put marketing dollars behind you, it doesn't matter that this person started it, because I can get you seen, because I can get you on the Jimmy Fallons, because I can get you on Good Morning America, because I can get your visibility is way larger, and then you're going to do your own TikTok and Instagram too. I can pay for those ads, right? At that point, you're going to be bigger than that, just based off of visibility. Because, mind you, as people are starting to get into this type of music, they then stumble upon you. But was it really a stumble upon? No, the ads and the money that was put behind you got you in their face, right? And with so many artists these days, that's what you need. That's what winds up happening. So it's one thing to get on Jimmy Fallon, Good Morning America, places like that. But I said that they don't run the industry. So you may ask, who is leading the charge on what's hot and what's not? It's the youth, the kids, the ones that every time the Uzi record come on, like, Every time the Uzi record comes, like those are the people that are saying what's hot. And what better way to get your music heard? What better way to find out who you are than to put them in front of the kids that sit at home and play games all day? Fortnite is one of the most popular free-to-play games in the world. It is so popular that major gaming franchises adopted the way that Fortnite plays. For example, me and my brother was just talking about this. Call of Duty. Now you would say that Call of Duty started it, and I would say you're partially correct on that. Call of Duty started the open multiplayer. You know, you get to play with somebody else, not sit on the couch. They were one of the first ones to do that with a shooter. But it wasn't free. Like you had to still buy the game, and they didn't put much into maps and everything like you know, you just had your favorite places to play it, and you still had to spend $50-$60 on the game and you could get it. So there was still a major portion of people that got left out. But when it came to Fortnite, not only did they have maps and then they continued to build on them, but it was free. Like you had to do nothing but download the game. That's it. And it quickly became popular because it's free. The same way PlayStation became popular. A lot of people switched over to PlayStation because you used to be able to play online for free, as while Xbox was charging you $12 to $13. So, and people are always going to take the cheapest route. We'll get on the Yeezy website here in a second. But if you do that, it's going to be a bit more profitable for you in the long run. Now, everybody can't do that. Everybody don't have the capital to take that L in the beginning. And what did Fortnite do? They just made it to where you did microtransactions. So everybody wants a new skin. Oh, hey, here's the Weeknd, by the way, right? You could be the Weeknd. You could be Eminem. You could be, just purchase this for $35.95 and it could be yours. Oh, by the way, you don't have to, though. The game is free. The game is free. So with that being said, man, shouts out to Paul Russell. What a brilliant move. Bars and Beats said, and I did see this yesterday, Bars and Beats says that he also has a Kids Bop version. Didn't I say what I say? Who runs the industry? Especially hip-hop. Especially hip-hop. Now you can get by with the older people kind of leading the new wave of country. This is the reason why Beyonce will get blackballed, or tries to get blackballed. They didn't know who they was messing with, but tries to get blackballed on radio stations. What also happened in Oklahoma. What is wrong with us? Did y'all hear that? Literally, y'all know she dropped 2 records on halftime, and Oklahoma decided to not play her record because they didn't feel it was country. Now, I remember this happening with Lil Nas X. And at least Lil Nas X had Billy Ray Cyrus on the record, right? A country music legend. Achy Breaky Heart will never die. And he's given birth to actually one of the biggest artists within music, I'll say. Wrecking Ball was ginormous. What is it? 23? Is that the record with Mike Will? Like that record had the hip-hop community in a chokehold. So Lil Nas X runs into the same issue. They're like, oh, this isn't country. Why? Because it had 808s and bass. But Beyonce's record didn't have that. And yet they blackballed it. But the Beehive called, complained, requested it as much as they could. And then the country radio station said, oh, we weren't. No, it's in the rotation with you. But it is. Why? Because you don't mess with Beyonce. But that's neither here nor there. Kids run the music industry. People, they are the ones that know what's hot. That is the way you stay above the curve. And it just flows down there. So, with Paul Russell getting this emote from Fortnite and got a Kids Bop version, Man, come on. He doesn't have to release another record if he didn't want to. He literally could be the Vanilla Ice of former Christian rappers. I'm telling you. Look, we're going to go and we're going to look at it. I'm going to show you guys what this is, and y'all are going to hear it as well. Shouts out to Fast Break, by the way. This is where I first saw this at. Like, come on, that's crazy. Shouts out to Paul Russell, man. That's crazy. Like, come on, everybody's dream is to be in a video game. Like, he doesn't have a skin yet, but that's his record. That's an emote that you get that has his voice and his music. Come on, man. He's there. Like, that's huge, man. So shouts out to Paul Russell. He also said, women, be careful who you ghost. Paul Russell with a little kickback. I wonder what that feels like, right? Like, what I mean by that is, like, what does it feel like in this situation? You were just that guy that spent all his time on TikTok. I ain't gonna get you nowhere. I need more us time. Come on, Paul. More us time. All you do is sit in front of that phone and you don't look at me the way you look at them, Paul. I don't know if I can do this anymore. And Paul was left with a bit of disdain in his heart. But he knew one day, that TikTok will be the one. And Mr. Paul Russell, that woman that left you now has to hear your record everywhere she goes. If she go to Walmart, they probably got it on there. She go to the mall and she's in the dressing room, they probably got it on there. She going to McDonald's, they probably playing it on Mac Radio. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is that there are people who literally fumbled the bag. And Mr. Russell, I highly doubt he has, he's like, yeah, that's what you get. I mean, that's kind of what the post said, but it seemed like he's just out here having fun, man. That's what it seems like. It seems like he's just out here having fun. Shouts out to Paul Russell, man. There is life outside of Christian hip hop. I don't know, his personal life. I believe he's still a believer, but I don't know that to be a fact. He hasn't given any indications or any reasons as why he wouldn't. Man, he's just out here having fun, man. And that's all you can hope for, man. So big shouts out to Paul